my queen, my queen. Oh, she, oh, she. Beautiful, wonderfully made. She's heaven's angel, so strong, even in struggle, yeah. When life comes like a storm from every angle, she rises above it all, the backbone of every home. Nothing compares to all she do. The true meaning of every family. She's the glue. Yeah. Where would we be without you? You brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama. Yeah, and Jesus too. Oh, she's sophisticated, strong, simply amazing, humble, honest, and helpful, educated, ebony, eccentric, empowering. She's a queen, she's a queen. You better treat her like a queen. Oh, oh, Her strength is amazing. Life inside, 9 months she's carrying back to work, 'cause the family she's carrying. Society don't give her just due, but she prevails and stands tall. A champion, a true woman. But nothing compares to all she do. Yeah, the true meaning of every family. She's the glue. Yeah, oh. And where would we be without you? Yeah, you brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama, and Jesus too.
Hello and welcome to Let's Talk with Bishop R.C. Blakes. R.C. is an author, empowerment teacher, and the proud pastor of the New Home Ministries of New Orleans, Louisiana, and Houston, Texas. His message circles the globe. His conversational and candid approach to challenging content makes him a relevant voice to all generations. Get ready for a life-changing transformational conversation.
Hello. This is R.C. Blakes, and welcome back to Let's Talk with R.C. Blakes. And we have a great one today. We started a teaching, I forget what we dealt with last time, but not long ago, should I say, we dealt with soulmates and what that looks like. Because, so many people today are just consumed with the idea of finding the one, and I get it. You know what I mean? It was God's idea that we should connect and we shouldn't be alone. That's not to say that everybody's necessarily supposed to be married, but on some level, as human beings, we're designed to connect. And so it's natural for all of us to have just the desire or should I say for most of us to have the desire to connect with someone romantically. But we have experienced enough, as a species to know by now that when we connect with people and it's not in the right frequency or not in the right terms, it can be terminal. It can be very detrimental to our lives and to our development. And so I spend a lot of time dealing with relationships because I know this is where people struggle most. And so today I want to talk about, I guess I would title it this way: 5 levels of a committed relationship. 5 levels of a committed relationship. A committed relationship is built on several key elements, and I'm going to share with you my thoughts today. Of course, you can get a lot of different opinions from a lot of different people. I would just say to you, as you peruse the internet or the bookstore, that you try to listen to people who at least have consistent fruit, some proof of concept. And, ideally, people that have great relationships and who've had these relationships for a while, like myself, but not limited to that, because there are some people who are single, but their singleness has produced the kind of fruit that they're wise, they're fulfilled, they're happy, they've learned some things about life that they can share with others. Just be certain that you're listening to people who have some proof of concept, because everybody now is a relationship coach or relationship guru. I don't consider myself to be either. I'm just a man that's lived a little bit, and I like to share the experiences that I've had, the wisdom that I've gleaned from life. But as I was saying, committed relationships are built on several key elements that help to create a strong and lasting bond between two individuals. And these elements include 5 things that I'm going to share with you today, which are chemistry, conversation, connection, compatibility, and ultimately commitment. I'll read them again: chemistry, conversation, connection, compatibility, and ultimately commitment. Now, one of the greatest reasons committed relationships are so few is because of what I described in one of my recent videos, the short-term strategies. There are long-term mating strategies and there are short-term mating strategies. This is especially important when it comes down to the woman. I believe with all of my heart, if the majority of women shifted from short-term mating strategies and shifted to long-term mating strategies, you would leave the population of men with no choice but to either get serious or get left behind. And when we talk about short-term versus long-term, short-term mating strategies are the strategies that men mostly employ that's just about having sex, having some sexual connection and then falling off of the scene. And then male society has put this pressure on female society that this is what you got to do if you want male attention. And female society has bought into it. And so now female society is playing into the hands of the short-term strategies, which is mostly and mainly about sex. And long-term mating strategies are the strategies that women employ that say, well, these are my standards. This is what I'm holding to. You either rise to this level or move on. I believe when more women get to a place where you're able to say that and not fall prey to the short-term strategies or the pressure to engage in short-term strategies, it's then that you leave men in a position where we either have to grow up or we have to do without. But I just needed to say that. Number one, 5 levels of a committed relationship. Chemistry. A committed relationship starts at a place called chemistry. Now, chemistry, and we'll try to differentiate between the 5 levels and differences between the various levels. Chemistry is the initial attraction. It is the spark that draws two people together. Now, this spark, this chemistry can be physical attraction, which is what it is most of the time, but it can also be emotional attraction. You can discover that you have chemistry with a person emotionally, that they're good for your mental, and that you're good for theirs. And, you never really looked at them like that, but you're discovering that there's a connection, there's a spark on a deeper level than the physical or the visual. And also chemistry can be intellectual, or it can be a combination of all three. It is what makes us feel when we have chemistry with a person. It's what makes us feel alive and excited when we are around someone we are what? Attracted to. However, listen to this statement very carefully. Chemistry alone is not enough to sustain a so-called committed relationship. Chemistry can get you to the bed. It'll definitely bring you to the bed. But, it may not be enough to get you to the wed. And even if it gets you to the altar, it may not be enough to actually generate, more than likely, it is not enough, should I say, to generate an actual committed relationship. Chemistry is what entangles people. That's what caused you to get tied up with a sociopath. You had chemistry with the narcissist. You had chemistry with the abuser, with the user. And because all your social circles taught you was you need to have chemistry, you need to feel, you need to be attracted to this person, you didn't realize that you had to go deeper. And so you took your leap just off of the diving board of chemistry alone, not understanding that that diving board is connected to an empty swimming pool. And you had a miserable landing. Because whenever you make your launch off of chemistry alone, more than likely you are going to come up short. You're going to come up missing. Chemistry can create an entanglement, but it cannot necessarily create a lifelong committed relationship. Chemistry is what Samson had for Delilah. And you know how that story ended if you are a Bible person. He had chemistry with her. Oh, yeah, he was drawn to her. If you go to Judges chapter 14, verses 1 through 3, says, and Samson went down to Timnath and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now, therefore, get her for me to wife. And his father and his mother said unto him, is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren or among all my people that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines? And Samson said unto his father, get her for me, for she pleaseth me well. He's asking his father to go get this woman to be his wife. She's a Philistine woman, and Samson is a Jew, and his father's like, man, are you ever attracted to any of the women that have your spiritual beliefs, your values, your priorities, your background? But notice what Samson says, get her for me, for she pleaseth me well. I'm attracted to her. You see, and that's what I hear a lot of times when I'm trying to teach women how to make wise and safe relational decisions. You're basically saying the same thing to me that Samson said to his father. Forget all of that stuff. Get him for me. He pleaseth me well. He looks good. He's my type. You see, we may discover chemistry with a person based on our level of consciousness. In fact, you may only discover chemistry with a person based on your level of consciousness. What did I just get through saying to you in the beginning of this point? You can have physical chemistry, you can have emotional chemistry, you may have intellectual chemistry. It depends on where your mental is set. If you're just set on carnality, on superficial, surface level stuff like looks and type, you'll never go as deep as to discover if there's an emotional chemistry or if there's an intellectual chemistry, because you may only discover chemistry with a person based on your level of consciousness. Because a person that is overly carnal and vain may only locate chemistry on a physical level. So watch this. The physical level is surface level. It's on the surface. So you'll always find chemistry with somebody through the eyes, through the looks, through the sex. And 99% of the time, this person or these people, because you'll find chemistry over and over again, these people are horrible for your emotional state. These people are miserable conversations to have because the intellect is not on par. But because this is where you are established in your consciousness, you never think to look deeper than. So those on an intellectual level will find attraction to the mind of certain people. And those in tune with their spirit will recognize the beauty of a person's heart, beauty of a person's spirit. They'll find beauty on even a deeper level. See? And so when you start talking about this thing called chemistry, I need you to understand that it does go deeper than the visual. It does go deeper than the surface. Listen to how 1 Peter 3 and 4 reads. It says, and read the full context in your leisure, says, whose adorning let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold or of putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of great price. He's encouraging women to not just be beautiful on the outside, but to be beautiful deep down within. So there are dimensions of beauty, there are dimensions of attraction, attractiveness, chemistry that goes deeper than the surface. And if you're a person that says, "Oh, I want to have a committed relationship," it starts with finding chemistry with a person on the right levels. Because if you're attracted to a person based on the visual and the physical, well, that's changing every day. You know, when Lisa and I first got together, I had a smooth face, and whenever I did grow out a beard, it was all black. Now, as you can see, if I let it go without dyeing it, it'll turn completely white. It's because the physical and the visual is shifting. And so if you find your chemistry only on the physical level, more than likely that the life of that relationship is going to be short-lived. I heard one man say that it's actually supposed to be stated short-lived. But I know most of y'all are going to think I'm wrong for saying it that way, so I'll say it the way you're accustomed to hearing it. It'll be short-lived. So I want you to rethink this thing called chemistry. And even if you are physically attracted to a person, be patient enough to see if there's emotional chemistry. Be patient enough to see if there's intellectual chemistry, if there's spiritual chemistry. You see, you will only discover chemistry on the level of your personal consciousness. Because there's this idea that chemistry is only visual and it's only physical. Not so. Not so. The reality is that there's emotional chemistry, intellectual chemistry, spiritual chemistry, physical chemistry. And these deeper dimensions of chemistry are not usually, watch this, these deeper dimensions of chemistry are not usually instant, like visual physical chemistry. Visual chemistry is the low-hanging fruit. Everybody can reach for that. It doesn't require any maturity. It doesn't require any self-love, self-esteem, self-work. It doesn't require any deep work, and it's fantastic. Everybody's just, everybody fantasizes about the romance novel type connection. But physical chemistry cannot produce intellectual or spiritual chemistry. You get somebody that's beautiful and good to look at, and sexy and moves you in that way and all of that. But if they're dumb as a box of rocks, I don't care how beautiful they are, how sexy they are. And when you need to connect intellectually, the physical chemistry is not going to give you any intellectual chemistry with this person. It's not going to make this person any smarter. The physical chemistry is not going to produce emotional chemistry. But watch this. If you flip that, if a person is, average looking to you, and I don't encourage anybody to get with somebody that you think looks like a monster, please don't ever misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm just trying to shift your focus off of the things that really, in the long run, are not going to matter as much. And I'm trying to shift you on to the things that would make for lifelong commitment connections. But if a person is just average looking to you, maybe, ain't no butterflies, no 4th of July fireworks going off, but you discover that this person connects with you emotionally and does something for your soul that nobody else has done. I promise you, if a person is beautiful emotionally to you, that emotional chemistry will produce a greater physical attraction. This is how you see many times what the world might call gorgeous women with average looking men. It's because that man did something for her soul. That wasn't him. When Lisa and I were younger, the guys used to always laugh because they thought that Lisa was out of my league, physically so. Because, I was overweight, but, your boy had just amazing confidence. You know what I'm saying? Amazing confidence. I never believed that, but, you looked at it, you say, okay. But the connection was in the fact that God had uniquely positioned me in this girl's life at the right time when I was in a transitional mode, and the connection was more emotional and intellectual than it was physical. She wasn't even really interested in, sex, like talking about it, because people that have come out of a history of abuse, sexual abuse, especially as a child, they don't have no great interest in no sex and all of that kind of thing. But it was the emotional. See, if you connect with if you look deep enough to connect with a person emotionally, and you give that person a chance, or connect with a person intellectually, you find out a beautiful mind lasts for a lifetime. Beautiful features only last for a couple of decades or so. And then it begins to fall off. You're beautiful for your age, as we like to say. But a beautiful mind gets more and more beautiful as the days go by. Maya Angelou was beautiful when she was a young woman. Her mind was beautiful then. As she got older, her body showed the years, right? But her mind got more and more beautiful. Now that she's gone, her mind is yet expanding in the earth, because a beautiful mind is forever attractive. And so while physical attraction cannot produce emotional attraction or intellectual attraction or spiritual attraction, those deeper connections of chemistry can produce a greater physical attraction between two people. Now, the challenge with chemistry is we tend to only search the surface because it is quick and instantly gratifying. That's the way most of us are built, right? And when you think about it, that ends in what? We go from chemistry to sex. Sex is really supposed to come into play when we get to the 5th level of commitment. Really, it is. But because we're not taught, we go from chemistry to sex. Sex should not be the shallow reflex of momentary attraction. It is the seal of a long-term commitment. Also, the world makes us hurried to leap to commitment. Committed relationships are developed over time and in order, not overnight. Esther Perel says, chemistry is not just about attraction, it's about resonance. Resonance is what makes a relationship sustainable. Now, number 2, I took a little while on that one. That's the longest one. Number 2, 5 levels of a committed relationship. Number 2 is conversation. You first discover chemistry, be it physical. If it's physical, you definitely need to see if there's some intellectual chemistry, if there's some emotional chemistry, if there's spiritual chemistry, and how do you discover these deeper dimensions? Conversation. Conversation is the foundation of any healthy relationship. It is the way we communicate our thoughts, feelings, and ideas with each other. Communication is not just about talking, but also about listening and understanding each other's perspective. Without good communication, misunderstandings and conflicts will arise, leading to a breakdown in the relationship. See, you don't want to be 4 weeks in the middle of the bed with somebody before you realize y'all can't communicate. See, and that's what happens when you jump from chemistry to sex. You allow chemistry to lure you into an entanglement like sex. Now you're a month into this thing and you have something serious you need to communicate. And now you realize y'all don't have any basis for conversation. You got all of your chemistry mixed up. Y'all all up in one another's bloodstream. Y'all all up in one another's beds. And you got your DNA all entangled. And you can't even have a conversation. If you look in James chapter 1, verses 19 and 20, it says, "My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires." Why is conversation the next step? Okay, I feel a little attraction there. I feel attracted to this person. I feel connected. Well, not connected, but I feel a spark. Conversation is the next logical step, next wise step, because conversation is where the souls get introduced. How do you know what's in the heart of a man? His words. The only thing greater than his words would be his actions. But just in the everyday economy, you have to listen to a person to get a snapshot of the condition of their soul. And anybody that does not want to talk, there's something either broken in them or there's something diabolical in them. In either case, you're probably not equipped to deal with that individual. I always advise you to move on from people that will not talk, because conversation is where the souls get introduced. You know, when Lisa and I were going through our process in dating, we would sit literally, and she can attest to this. We would sit and talk for hours. There was a 24-hour restaurant that, as a family, we visited since I was a kid. And man, we would sit in that restaurant sometimes to 2 and 3 in the morning. I remember one night we saw the sun come up. We were just sitting there talking, because conversation is where the souls get introduced. If you don't have thrilling conversations with a person, you probably don't have a deep enough chemistry. If all you feeling is, I feel butterflies, I feel sexy, I feel like having sex, and there's nothing that draws you to just have long conversations with a person, you probably don't have enough there to go the distance. In Luke chapter 6 and 45, he says, "A good man out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth that which is good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil. For of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaketh. Whatever's in a man's heart will come out of his or her mouth," because conversation is where the souls get introduced. You see, if you start digging into a conversation with a person and they irritate you intellectually, they look beautiful, but there's something about the conversation is just irritating, you have enough information at that point to understand this is nobody you need to be getting in the bed with. This is nobody to be getting in the bed with. There's no future here. Now you can fool yourself and think that because they look so good, you're going to ignore, the intellectual differences or the spiritual, even worse, differences. But I'm telling you, it ain't gonna last. Now, let me give you A, B, C, D, E. Let me give you these 4 points at the end of this point number 2, conversation. Letter A, conversation is an opportunity to get a sneak peek at a person's emotional intelligence. Like you're trying to share something. These are things you can learn in conversation. You're trying to share something that's deep and serious to you. And I mean, you preface it with all of the right verbiage that this person should pick up on. What's coming after this is very significant and serious to this individual. And right when you're trying to get out the main thing you're trying to say, they cut you off. They've not paid attention to your body language. They've not listened to your tone. They're not even listening to your words. They're just there to talk. Now you know what? You have a person that is probably not emotionally intelligent enough to go the distance with. You learn this in what? Conversation. In conversation, letter B, you get a read on their intellectual bandwidth. Kind of dealt with that already. Letter C, you discover things to be concerned about. When you asking questions will reveal motives. And so it's in conversation that you discover things to be concerned about, Letter D, you get to ask and you get to answer questions. That's intimacy, really, right? Intimacy. I think as Bishop Jakes, I heard say that, intimacy, where you open your heart for them to see, take a peek in, and hopefully they're intelligent enough to do the same. And you get to ask and answer questions. Letter E, this is where you get to locate the other person's priorities. You get a chance to figure out what's really important to this individual. And you get a chance to measure what's important to them next to what's important to you. This is what we're building our way to what will hopefully become a committed relationship. But it starts with some level of chemistry. It then moves to conversation. Peter Drucker says the most important thing in communication is hearing what isn't said. That's a whole lesson to itself, right? Now, number 3 is connection. So we go from chemistry to conversation to connection. Now, connection goes beyond just physical attraction and conversation. It is a deeper sense of understanding and empathy for each other. Connection is built through shared experiences, values, and interests. It is what creates a sense of intimacy and closeness in a relationship. But watch this. Connection takes time. Entanglement happens quickly. See, you don't tell me you met somebody last night. You're like, oh, the connection is just amazing. That's just chemistry. And that's just more than likely, that's just physical chemistry. You haven't even done the work to really be able to say there's an intellectual chemistry. Well, unless y'all just sat up and talked all night, unless y'all just really went deeper, faster than most people go. It's possible, but it's not likely. Because connection really takes time. Amos 3:3 says, can two walk together except they be agreed? Now take your time to understand that. Can two walk together except they be agreed? One version says, can two meet together except they agree upon a time and place or something like that? Meaning what? The wisdom of this text is God is saying people don't just randomly end up on the same journey harmoniously. There would have to have been some groundwork laid for two people to connect at the same time and place, going in the same direction. Connection is the fruit of patience and process. Brene Brown says, connection is the energy that is created between two people when they feel seen, heard, and valued. That takes what? Time. So we move from chemistry to conversation to connection. Ecclesiastes 4, 9, and 10 says, two are better than one because they have a good reward, a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity of anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. It's talking about true connection. Reciprocal. Connection is reciprocal. There's give and take. You see? Let me give you A, B, C, D, E, and F under connection number 3. Letter A. What does connection look like? This is what this is speaking to. Letter A. What does connection look like? Open communication. You know that you're connected with a person when you can talk about anything. Open communication, where a person is not lying, a person is not skating around issues, but communication is open. When two people are truly connected, they are comfortable communicating with each other openly and honestly. Ain't nothing to hide. They are willing to share their thoughts, their feelings, ideas without fear of judgment or rejection. Letter B, mutual trust. When you're connected to a person, they trust you, you trust them because you have the connection. You see, wherever there's a relationship where one party doesn't trust the other, there's not a strong enough connection going both ways. Because one of the main signs of connection is trust. A strong connection in a relationship is built on mutual trust. Letter C, respect. Anybody that you're really earnestly connected to is going to respect you, and you're going to respect them. When two people are genuinely connected, they show each other respect. They value each other's opinions, feelings, and boundaries. They also make an effort to treat each other with kindness and consideration. Letter D, when you're connected, you develop shared interest. You develop shared interests. While it's not necessary for two people in a relationship to have all the same interests, when they are genuinely connected, they tend to share some common ground. And then letter E, there's emotional support. That person that you're connected to becomes your emotional support. A strong connection in a relationship means that each person provides emotional support for the other. If you got to look outside of your relationship for emotional support, not that you can't have emotional support in other people, but if you can't find it inside of your relationship, I don't know what y'all got, but it ain't no connection. And then letter F is physical affection. When you're connected with a person, there's going to always be the physical attraction. Physical affection is another sign of a genuine connection in a relationship. And this is anything from holding hands to hugging, cuddling, kissing, making babies. If y'all married, hopefully, praise the Lord. Number 4. So we went from what? Chemistry to conversation, connection. Now here's number 4. Compatibility. Number four, step number four on the journey to commitment or a committed relationship is compatibility. Compatibility is the ability of two people to coexist and thrive together. Compatibility is about being able to balance each other's strengths and weaknesses and work towards common goals. Compatibility is not just about liking the same things, but also about being able to respect and appreciate each other's differences. There are things about me that Lisa cannot stand. There are things about Lisa that I cannot stand. And we both made a decision that our love for one another was greater than the idiosyncrasies that each of us have. And we're able to harmoniously coexist because we are compatible. Compatibility is not me trying to force you to be what I want you to be. No, it's about me accepting you for exactly who you are, the way you are. Come on now. You know, if a person, you should never go to the altar and marry a person that you cannot look, across the altar at them on your wedding day and say to yourself, if nothing changes about you, this is enough for me for the rest of my life. If you're trying to hook up with somebody thinking that you're going to change them and you're going to tweak this and you're going to change that, you need to leave that alone. Y'all are not compatible. When you become compatible, it's not just about liking the same things, but about being able to respect and appreciate each other's differences. Listen to what the Bible says in Genesis 2:18. And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. And the word there, the phrase there, or the word helper, helpmeet, in the Hebrew means corresponding to him or matching him. So a more literal translation of the phrase would be a helper matching him or a helper corresponding to him. Yeah. Meaning one that is what? Suitable for him. One that is compatible, one that synergizes. This is why 2 Corinthians 6:14 says, do not be yoked together with unbelievers, for what do righteousness and wickedness have in common, or what fellowship can light have with darkness? King James says, be not unequally yoked together. Because an unequal yoke causes pain at least, and at worst causes death. And so we go from chemistry to conversation to connection to compatibility. It's in the connection that you begin to develop the rhythm of compatibility. Now let me give you some common signs of compatibility. Letter A, there's a shared sense of humor. Humor is very important to a committed relationship. I wouldn't want to live with nobody that didn't make me laugh or I couldn't make laugh. I intentionally try to make my wife laugh, and she usually falls for it. She has a very weird kind of sense of humor. It's really, really, really weird. But she makes me laugh, with the craziness, the way she wakes me up in the morning. I won't put her business out there, but it's crazy, man. I'm like, girl, what is wrong with you? She knows I'm jittery, but she does this particular thing all the time, and I'm like, okay, but we have to have a shared sense of humor. Letter B, there has to be a common financial philosophy. Oh, you didn't realize that y'all need to be financially compatible? It doesn't mean that one need to make more, he need to make more money than me, or one got to pay all the bills, other got to pay all. No, 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 no. It means that we got to have a shared philosophy to be compatible in the flow of our money. If I'm thinking about saving and owning and having great credit, and all you're thinking about is spending and consuming, got to have letter A, shared sense of humor; common, letter B, common financial philosophy; letter C, a general idea of spirituality. Got to be somewhere in the same ballpark if we're going to be compatible. Letter D, got to have an appreciation for each other's opinions. And then letter E, there must be emotional synergy. It's been said, in a great relationship, the love you share is larger than the problems you encounter. You accept each other's flaws and work together to grow and thrive. It's also said it's not about finding someone who completes you. It's about finding someone who accepts you completely. And then watch this. Number 5, we finally arrive at the level called commitment. And commitment is the glue that holds a relationship together. It is the willingness to work through challenges and difficulties and to make sacrifices for the sake of the relationship. Commitment is not just about staying together, but about actively choosing to invest in each other and the relationship. So now you see why you don't get to commitment overnight. You can get to entanglement overnight. You can get to soul tie overnight. Yeah, you can do all of that overnight, but commitment is going to take some time to get to a place called commitment. 1 Corinthians 13:4-7 says, love is patient, love is kind, does not envy, does not boast, it is not proud, does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. That's a snapshot of commitment. Now, let me give you the marks of commitment. Letter A, consistency. When someone's committed, they are consistent. It's like clockwork. You don't have to. They're committed. Letter B, communication. When a person is committed, they communicate. They communicate. If a person is not communicating, I think it is a clear sign that this person is not committed. Letter C, you are clearly, they make it known that you are priority. A committed partner prioritizes their significant other and the relationship. You're not sitting around guessing, trying to figure out if you come in after his job or if you come in after her friends. No, 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 no. You are prioritized when a person is committed to you. Letter D, respect. Anybody that disrespects you is not committed to you. We don't need no. Disrespect is not commitment. Letter E, they support you. They support you. They're not trying to dumb you down. They're not trying to talk you out of your destiny. They're trying to figure out, how can I fit in to help you? And then letter F, year after year after year after year, they prove to be loyal. People that are committed to you are loyal. When it could be beneficial to them to turn, to do the Judas on you, they're loyal. When you're not able to be at your best, they stay in place. They keep doing what they're supposed to do because they're loyal. Come on now. And so hopefully you can see why I say to you, you don't arrive at a place called committed relationship overnight. It's going to take a minute. Dig in, work a while. Let me pray for you. Father, I thank you for every person, male and female, that's under the sound of my voice. And my prayer, God, is that you will allow something that I've said today to really soak into their hearts. And God, let it become wisdom to them that will change and transform their lives. I thank you for it. In Jesus' name, amen. Now listen, hope you got something out of this today. Sign up for my mailing list, and if you had been on my mailing list, you would have gotten the notification about tonight, or about today's conversation, and you would have gotten whatever's necessary to have had the notes to be able to follow along. When there are times that I have time to do that. And this is one that you would have gotten the notes. So I've been begging you to get on my mailing list, but you look like you just don't want to do it. And you got to understand, you're not in my community till you're on my list. If these platforms go down today or tomorrow, the only people I can reach out to let you know where I'm at are those that are on my mailing list. And if you consider yourself a part of my family and community, you should be on my mailing list. Don't forget to go by Amazon and pick up all of my books, especially my latest book, Me, My, Mine. It was reading out of stock for so long, but now they're in stock. So go and pick that up today. You can get the physical version, you can get the audible version, you can get the electronic version, the Kindle version at Amazon. Thanks to all of you that have sown into our lives. Lisa and I love you so much. We thank God for you. And hey, what am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? I know I'm missing something, but whatever it is, just know that Lisa and I love you. We thank God for you. You are special to us. I want to also say thank you to Kizzy Rock, who's one of the moderators on our YouTube channel. She flew down. I don't know if she flew or drove. She probably drove, I'm assuming. But she came to New Orleans, and she brought the most amazing gift to my brother and I. 2 original oil paintings of my brother and I with my Father who's in heaven, releasing the torch into my brother and my hands. Is that the right way to say that? Y'all know what I mean. It was just so amazing. I had to just say thank you to Kizzy. It's a very special gift. And I love my family. I love my community. You all are the absolute best. But hey, just know you're on top. You're going higher. God has more in store for you. Woo! So we will see you at the top. But before you leave out of here, you hit the like button. I don't know why I ain't gonna fuss. Hit the like button.
We here at RC Blakes Ministries want to thank you for spending this time with us today. RC and Lisa are always honored to have you with us. Don't forget to reach out to us by visiting our website at www.rcblakes.com. While you're there, you may join our mailing list and receive a free download of The Laws of Manifesting Your Vision by RC Blakes. Also look at all of the online programs by RC. You may find all books written by RC and Lisa. Once again, all of us here at RC Blakes Ministries want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And as we always say, see you at the top.